Hi, hello, what is up? Welcome back to the For the One podcast. If I have never had the honor and privilege of meeting you, my name is Myunique, but you may know me as Instagram for Believers, and I am so excited to be sitting and chatting with you guys today. Before I get to that, I just want to say how excited I am because I'm in California, Southern California, and it rained 3 times this week. And I am super excited because that means fall is coming. I hate pumpkin spice anything, it's not my vibe, but I love fall. It's probably because my birthday is in October, so I was born as a fall baby. But I am super excited because fall is just around the corner, which means layers, hoodies, boots, everything that I literally thrive in. And so that's my one good thing that I have been just like so excited about as I just wake up. Like literally every day, I'm like, fall is coming. I smell rain, I see leaves. Like, it's great. Anyways, thanks for being with us today. I wanted to talk about losing friendships just because I, over the last couple of weeks, have been navigating and processing um, losing friends. And I think that's such a hard topic to talk about for me because I am really awkward. I don't know what it is about me. I just like have this weird expectation that like people just don't like me, and so making friends has always been really challenging to me. I'm talking from grade school, middle school, high school. It has always been really challenging to me because I've always felt weird. I've always felt like the odd one out, and I actually was like really bullied throughout middle school and high school. Like, I don't think I even started to find my identity and who I was until after high school. And that was literally because we lost my brother to suicide. And so it's just like I have just always been this like really somewhat awkward kid. But something I have noticed about just my life in general is like I'm a like 1 to 2 close friends kind of girl, and I'm okay. And I think that everyone is different. Some people, they just thrive in a lot of healthy friendships, and that's great for them. And then you have the introverts like me, where it's like as long as you have 1 to 2 good friends in your corner, you're good. And I think as I've been navigating a new season of life where I'm trying to find a new church community, trying to find just new friendships, it's been just like something that's been in the forefront of my mind and something I have been honestly just praying and processing through. And it just caused me to reflect back on a time where I felt like I lost every friend possible. And I, in particular, had one friend that we had been friends for just about 2 decades worth. And I'm not going to say I woke up and suddenly everything changed, but I think there was a period of time where our relationship, like you could see the slowly drifting apart kind of thing. And when you have a friend that long and it's like you guys are best friends, you never think or dream of the day that that's a possibility. For most of my life, I had compartmentalized my friends where I would be like, okay, this friend was probably for a season. This friend, was for that reason. This friend would be for the lifetime. And so that's kind of just how I compartmentalized people in my life. And with one friend who most people knew as like my absolute best friend, I just started to notice that drift. And I am the type of person that I try my best to vocalize where I'm at with people. Like, I'm very self-aware. Like, I love my therapist, and one of my favorite things, like I tell my husband after my therapy sessions, I'm like, she really likes that I'm self-aware, and I honestly try to be very self-aware with where I'm at, how I'm feeling, emotions, the whole nine. And I remember with this particular friend, one of my biggest struggles, not that I just like carried, was the fact that if I'm saying that like we're best friends or friends, I'm gonna know that that means you know things about my life that other people probably don't know. And I'm gonna say that like when I say someone is my best friend, that means I'm telling them information. And I know that we had struggled in the past, years ago, with just like her lack of ability to share things with me. And then I would find it out, and then in my head I would be like, but I thought we were best friends, and isn't that something you would tell your best friend? Because like I would have told you. And it just became this thing that really was like, I don't know if it was my own insecurity and self, but it just really started to get to me. So one of my biggest like triggers was like finding out information late, because again, if I'm saying you're my best friend, I'm like, outside of the Lord himself, and now I'm married, so my husband pretty much knows everything. But like outside of that, this is a person that knows me more than anyone, or at least that's what I would expect. And I'm a 50-50 kind of girl. Like if you're going to give, I'm going to give. Like I want to meet in the middle and like really steward a relationship well. And I started to notice that this relationship slowly started to like drift apart. And don't get me wrong, after 2 decades, I think I would have seen all seasons of this person, and vice versa. Like I would have hoped that after 2 decades, this person would have known me and like was able to tell things with me, because 2 decades is a long time to be friends with someone. And I am appreciative and thankful for that season. But yeah, I just started to notice that there was this like this huge drift just happening. And I think one of my breaking points was like this person started seeing someone and I was unaware of it until like way later. And it was just like, man, like if I haven't expressed to you that one of my triggers in our relationship was the fact that I never get told anything, like it's going to hurt me deeply. And it's fine, like people can do and date, but it was just like, as someone who was like, oh, we're best friends, like I just felt like maybe I was living in my head. And I remember doing a post on TikTok, and I was just like, do you ever feel like you're nobody's first or like best friend? Like, I don't know what it is. Like for me, I felt like if I seen this girl as my maid of honor, I knew in my heart of hearts that I would not be hers. I knew this girl, like I would be like, oh my gosh, I love this girl so much. Like I want her to be a bridesmaid in my wedding. But I knew in my heart that like I actually wouldn't be a bridesmaid in hers. And so I've always struggled with these like half one-sided friendships where it's like I'm giving and I'm pouring and I'm doing and they're just not. And so I don't know, after just like having so many relationships like that, you start to kind of pull back and wonder if there's ever going to be a friend that gives 100 to you and you give 100 to them. And I just started to deeply struggle with that. And there was one year in particular, I think back in 2023, where I literally was like, you know what, I'm done with the half-sided like friendships. I only want people that are committed to me fully and, you know, willing to put in the effort, because it wasn't just in my friend life that this was happening. At the time, it was also my dating life, where it was just like I was seeing someone and it felt like I was the only one ever texting first, the only one calling first, the only one to plan hangouts. And it's like you kind of get sick and tired of always being the one to do. And so I got to a point where I said, you know what, going into next year, I'm not doing anything. And so I started cutting back on friendships, and I was like, I want to see if people are going to reach out to me first. Because again, I had been doing all of the pouring, but there was no pouring being poured back into me. And I quickly, and I mean quickly, realized how one-sided some of these relationships were, because no one started texting me first. No one would ask me to hang out. No one would check in on me. And I was just like blown away, because I'm like, man, it's true. When you genuinely like match people's energy, you will learn very quickly. And so with this friendship in particular that I'm talking about, it was just, I remember pulling back and seeing like, hey, I'm just going to see if this person reaches out first, if, you know, this person puts in the effort to hang out with me. Like I just wanted to see, because I had felt like I had been giving 90% of our relationship and she was only giving 10. And I remember, and I'll never forget, because it actually hurt me so deeply, which is so weird because it seems so small to the normal person. But I remember we had mutual friends, and I remember being in a hangout or wherever, and someone was like, oh, is so-and-so coming? And I was like, I don't know. And this person was like, oh, well, I heard she's out of the country. And I paused, like I froze, and my heart just like sunk. And I was like, out of the country? And they were like, well, yeah, she's out of the country. I went to the bathroom, and sure enough, I checked her Instagram and she was out of the country. And I remember going home that night and literally crying, because I was like, how do you go out of the country and not tell your best friend? And I think that was the moment I was like, you know what? I can't keep giving. I can't keep giving because I'm getting hurt and I don't know what else to do. And I remember just like for the next couple of weeks, just just really shutting down from people and kind of secluding myself because I just needed time to process. And throughout that time, I still had never heard from this person who is supposed to be my best friend. And I was just kind of like, yeah, I can't. Like, I literally just woke up and decided I can't do this anymore because everything in my life was shifting. Friendships, relationships. And I remember that year literally just crying out to the Lord for friends. Like, if I show you guys my journals, I was like, literally just like for the next year, I just felt so alone. And I would cry and I would pray and I would journal. And I'm like, God, I'm not saying I need a husband. I'm not saying I need to be in a relationship, but just send me friends. Like, please just send me godly friends. And that was my plea for like a year. I can literally prove it with my journal entries because I would just, again, just cry and pray and cry and pray. And I just never thought anything else of it because I was like, you know what? I can't do it. I can't do it. But God has this but God suddenly moment every single time. And so after about a year, I remember just connecting with the crew is what I call them at the church I was at the time, and just meeting a couple of people there that, and I'm not like a big group kind of people girl, but like if I get 2 to 3, I'm solid. And shout out to the crew because we started like hanging out after churches on Sunday. We started group chat texting. Like, I remember just like being with them so much in such a hard season that I was like, God answered this prayer. And I remember even like showing them like, man, I prayed for friends like you guys, and they just started showing up for me in such crazy ways. And honestly, like, even after, being engaged, like, these same friends like carried me and my now husband through our engagement season because we just had the craziest time. And me and my husband are just so thankful to have done life with them and do life with them. And man, I'm just remember just like stepping into healthy, godly friendships. And even with them, it was hard because opening yourself up, trusting people again, like, all of that is hard, but it was so well worth it. And I say all of that to say, friendships are really hard. I know what it's like to feel lonely. I know what it's like to cry out to the Lord to just send you one good friend. I know what it's like to be forgotten, be put on the back burner. Like, I know what it's like, and it sucks and it hurts. And there are a lot of times that I felt like I would never see the end of day with that. But as I'm in a new season where I'm trying to find a new church community, and me and my husband are trying to figure out what married friendships look like, et cetera, like, I've been feeling some of those same feelings again of just like the loneliness of friendship. And I'm asking the Lord, what do I do with this? How do I navigate it, especially now being married? And I just feel like, because so many of us deeply struggle with the realm or the conversation of friendships, why not bring some hopeful reminders to people about them? And so I wrote them down. Not every friendship is meant to last forever. And I think that is something I don't want to hear, but I'm having to hear it because, again, over the last 6 months to a year, some of the closest friends and people in my life are no longer here. And it's been hurtful. But not all of them are meant to last forever. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And so, as heartbreaking as losing friends can be, it also allows God to make room for new ones. There was a relationship that, honestly, most people, if I were to tell you details, would know exactly who I'm talking about. And this is a relationship that I thought would be around to see me have kids one day. And that relationship recently ended, and I'm just like, by far one of the hardest ones I've had to process, just because of how close I was to this person. And as I've been sitting with the Lord and processing, I just don't. One of the interesting things about losing this relationship is that as heartbreaking as it has been for me to process and still process, I think one of the more beautiful parts of it is, with the loss of this particular friendship, I have grown closer in friendship with my husband. And I joke around with him because I'm like, outside of the Lord, you're all I got right now. But I just don't know how I would be in this season if me and this person were still as close as we are. Because I'm telling you guys, like, if you follow Instagram for Believers, you may not know who I'm talking about. But if those of you who know me, like, in real life, like, you probably know exactly who I'm talking about. And honestly, I've just been like, man, there are some moments where I was so used to going to this person because we were such good friends. And I'm like, now I'm being forced to go to my husband more. Which, again, it's not a bad thing. I talk to my husband, but I think it's forced me into more vulnerable conversations with my husband that I don't know would exist had this person and I still been as close as we were. And so, not every friendship is meant to last forever. Some of them are seasonal, but as people exit our lives, it allows God to bring relationship for new friends. That's the first. The second reminder that I kind of just wanted to throw out there is that God understands your broken heart. The Bible literally tells us in Psalms 34:18 that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. And I think sometimes, even as believers, we forget that Jesus literally lived on this earth and experienced everything that we do, our human emotions. And as much as I have been in this season where I have felt a lot of betrayal myself and loss of really deep friendships, I have to remember that Jesus felt it too. I mean, we all know the story of how Judas betrays Jesus. And granted, Jesus knew this was coming. Jesus knew that someone would betray him. Jesus knew it was someone in his close circle, and yet he loved them anyway. And something that the Lord has really been reminding me of, and I'm not even going to lie, it's been hard, but something that the Lord has been reminding me of is Myunique, you still have to love these people the way that I've called you to love them. You still have to pray for these people the way that I've called you to pray for them. And it's been hard. I don't want to pray for them. I don't want to love them the way that the Lord tells me. I just want to say screw it and be done. That is my God. That is my honest truth. But I know I can't do that. So it's been hard. It's been hard. But there's something so comforting in knowing that Jesus did it. I can do it. Not in my own strength, not in my own power, but through the power of the Holy Spirit. And just know that if you're experiencing friendship hurt right now, first, you're not alone, because I'm right there with you. But more importantly, God is with you. God sees you. He hears you. And I don't know how he's going to answer you, but he will. And the last point is, our identity can't be tied to people who stay or people who leave. It has to be tied to Jesus. Because throughout all the friendships you're going to have in your life, some of them will come, some of them will go, but it's Jesus who remains. It's Jesus who stays with you through the thick and thin. And I think that's something that we forget. I kind of touched on it in the last point, but there's one particular friendship that I lost recently that, again, I just feel like I was so attached to this friendship that for the first couple of weeks I really struggled in, like, what am I going to do? Like, who am I? Like, it was just this weird, like, process that I started going through, and thoughts, and all of these things. And because I had done life with this person for the last 5ish years or so, I did life really closely with this person. I didn't know what it was going to look like. And I, over the last 2 months, have been stripped of almost every identity or thing that I placed my identity in. I've been stripped of all of it. I'm talking friendships that I thought would be there and last. I'm talking job/position that I thought I would always have. I'm even talking about, like, family. Like, everything has been gone in a matter of mere months. Everything. And it has left me in this weird state of mind of not knowing who I am. And it's also in this season that God has been calling me to more of Him, for me to understand and recognize my identity can only, and I mean only, be in Him and Him alone. My identity can't be in my family. My identity can't be in my church. My identity can't be in the friendships that I have, the people that I know. Like, it has to be built on the solid rock, which is Jesus. And you would think that after 14 years of walking with the Lord that I would know that, but I've had to relearn it all over again. My identity is not in my husband. It's not in the fact that I'm a stepmom. It's not in that I'm a dog mom. Like, I am who I am in Jesus. And so you have to know that your identity can't be attached to friendships, because when they're gone, you're going to feel a shift happening of wondering who you are. It's like that one SpongeBob episode where he forgets his name and he's like running around and he's like, I don't know my name. And it's hard. But it's not impossible to get through God. And so every friendship that you have probably had in your life has shaped you in some way. I can honestly say it has been so incredibly heartbreaking to lose the friends that I had. But I also know that God is shaping me for the future. And something I have been, as I'm meeting new people and all that, I'm like, God, how can I be a good friend to this person in this season? God, what is it in my heart that I need to work out so that I can not fall into the same things or make the same mistakes that I did in this that I'm doing now? And so I think it's important for us to look at ourselves, to thank the past seasons of your life. Like I said, I know that the friendships I had made me better, but it doesn't hurt losing them. Like, just because I know it made me better doesn't mean I don't feel the hurt that I do because of the loss of these friendships. But I know it's made me a better person. And so I'm praying that in the future that God helps me steward relationships even better, that I have more discernment heading into relationships, because being an adult and making friends is really hard. Schedules are hard, family dynamics, like married life, like it's been a challenge for me. But I'm hoping in this new season that the Lord will connect both me and my husband to the right people, the right friends, so that we can ultimately live out His will for our lives. And so if you're going through it, just know that I'm praying for you, because I know what that's like. And I just know you're going to see it through. I'm not 100% better. Like, I still cry. I still have dreams about these people. And sometimes I wake up crying and I just process what I'm feeling, because I don't know if we'll ever be friends again. Like, sometimes friendships can reconnect and it's great and it's thriving, but sometimes it's not. And I think it really just depends on the people. I was like that with a group of friends that I call them the Shiny Teeth Club. If you followed me for a while, you've heard me mention them. And there was a season of my like content life where Jenny completely ran my social media as a bootleg manager, so shout out to her and them. But there was a season where I was not friends with Jenny and Courtney for like 2 years or something like that. I don't know, it was crazy. I don't even know why we stopped being friends, but then there was a moment where we kind of reconnected again in a group chat, and I think it was Jenny that was just like texted all of us. And these are the same girls that like drove across, or not drove, but flew across the country to be at my wedding, when those closest to me, like other people that I thought would be at my wedding, did not come to my wedding. And so there are some friendships that will last, and you reconnect, and you know, are able to just pick up the pieces that were on the ground and move forward. And then there are friends that doesn't happen with, because like the friend I was telling you guys about that I was friends for over a decade, there was a try for a reconnect and nothing happened with it, and I was actually really disappointed in that. But now I'm like, hey, we tried the reconnect thing, it probably isn't gonna work out, because it hasn't, and it's been a couple of months, but it's just like some of them are not meant to reconnect. And I think it's just getting to, like, I am at the season in my life where I'm starting to finally come to terms with a lot of things, because I've been sitting in them, but I'm coming to terms with a lot of these things so that I can move forward. Because when you don't come to terms with where these relationships and friendships are at, you can end up in a place where you're stagnant and just sitting because you don't know what to do. When you accept it, you move on. And so that's where I have been, of just accepting that friendships have been ending. People don't talk to me anymore. It's a whole thing. But just know that you're not alone, and that God is with you. And if the friendship is meant to rekindle, I am praying that that door opens. But if it's not, I'm praying that you accept that that door is closed, and you allow God to make room for what's to come. I don't know if that helped. It's just been something I've been processing through over the last 3 years. I've been in this, like, really losing some deep friends. So the last 3 years, but in particular the last 6 months, have been really, really hard. So yeah, I don't know if that helped you. I don't know if it made sense. I'm gonna get better at this, I promise. But thanks for listening. I hope that you guys have an incredible week, and I will see you in the next podcast. Bye.